Heat. Real heat. The kind you can't manufacture, the kind that fills the air when a city decides, without asking permission from critics or trolls, that someone matters. When Coco Gauff arrived in Rome for the Italian Open, this wasn't your standard athlete check-in with polite smiles and quiet handshakes. This was Rome making a statement. Planes cut across the sky in tight formation, a coordinated aerial performance unfolding overhead like a crown placed in midair. The sort of welcome usually reserved for presidents, royalty, or once-in-a-generation icons. While the usual crowd of online critics rushed to their keyboards to complain that she's overrated, the city itself looked up and said the opposite, loudly, visually, and without apology. This wasn't about flowers in a hotel room or a courtesy escort. This was a deliberate, planned, expensive, permission-heavy spectacle, and it happened for one reason only. Coco Gauff moves the needle. Rome understood what some people still pretend not to, that when she shows up, attention follows, headlines follow, cameras follow, and the entire event instantly feels bigger. Last year, this same city watched her fight through a hostile final against Yasmin Palomini, absorbing boos, pressure, and disappointment with composure and class, never lashing out, never making excuses, never disrespecting the crowd. That professionalism didn't go unnoticed. Fast forward to now, and Rome isn't just acknowledging her return, it's celebrating it from the sky. This is what respect earned over time looks like. It's not hype, it's return on investment. Tournaments compete for stars, and stars who deliver on court, in interviews, and in global relevance get treated differently. Coco isn't just a top-tier player, she's a reigning major champion, a proven draw, and a global figure whose presence guarantees visibility far beyond tennis circles. The air show wasn't random and it wasn't charity, it was smart business wrapped in symbolism, a viral moment engineered to say, this is one of our main attractions. Critics can argue semantics all they want, but cities don't mobilize aircraft for players who don't matter. Federations don't spend resources on names that don't convert to ticket sales, and global media doesn't swarm moments that lack real star power. Rome chose Coco because she delivers, on clay, on camera, and on the global stage. Legends like Roger Federer and Serena Williams received this kind of reverence after decades of dominance. Coco is receiving it before she's even reached her prime, and that alone should end the debate. This welcome wasn't premature, it was predictive. It was Rome betting on what's already obvious, that Coco Gauff isn't just part of tennis's present, she's central to its future. While haters rage from comment sections, the sky over Rome already cast its vote, and it was unanimous. And the story doesn't stop with the planes disappearing over the Roman skyline, because moments like this tend to echo far beyond the instant they happen. An air show isn't just a welcome, it's a signal flare sent to the entire tennis world, a public declaration that Coco Gauff occupies a space very few athletes ever reach. This is the point where perception hardens into reality, where debate quietly ends because institutions, cities, and organizers have already made their choice. Rome didn't consult social media timelines or comment sections before rolling out this reception. It consulted numbers, influence, reach, and relevance. It consulted the fact that wherever Coco goes, attention follows, and wherever attention follows, the sport grows. That's why this moment matters so much. It's not about ego or spectacle for spectacle's sake, it's about recognition of value in its purest form. Coco represents the rare combination of elite performance and cultural gravity, the kind that pulls new fans into tennis, keeps sponsors invested, and makes tournaments feel like must-watch events instead of calendar obligations. What makes this even more striking is how naturally she fits into these moments without demanding them. There was no diva behavior, no entitlement, no expectation voiced out loud. She stood there watching the sky like everyone else, letting the moment happen rather than trying to own it. That restraint is part of why she keeps earning this respect. In a sport that has seen its share of prodigies burn out or buckle under hype, Coco has done the opposite. She's absorbed pressure, adapted after tough losses, fixed weaknesses in public view, and come back stronger. Clay was once labeled her problem surface. Her serve was dissected endlessly, and every stumble was amplified. Yet here she is, arriving in Rome not as a question mark, but as a featured attraction. That evolution doesn't happen by accident. It happens because results eventually silence doubt, and professionalism turns critics into reluctant witnesses. The irony is that the louder the backlash becomes, the clearer the hierarchy gets. Players who are truly overrated don't trigger this kind of reaction. They fade quietly. Coco doesn't fade. She provokes, polarizes, and dominates conversations because she occupies relevance, and relevance is power. Rome understands this better than anyone. By honoring her arrival so publicly, the tournament isn't just celebrating one player, it's aligning itself with the future narrative of the sport. Years from now, when people look back at when Coco Gauff fully crossed from rising star to global centerpiece, moments like this will be part of the timeline. Not because of the Jets alone, but because of what they represented. Confirmation. Confirmation that she belongs at the very top. Confirmation that her impact is already historic. And confirmation that no amount of online noise can compete with real-world recognition. So while critics continue arguing in circles, the sport keeps moving forward, with Coco at the center of it. Rome didn't just welcome her, it valued her place in tennis's highest tier. And once a city with thousands of years of history decides you're worth stopping traffic and rewriting the sky for, the conversation is over. The only thing left now is to watch what she does next on court, because moments like this don't mark an ending, they mark the beginning of an even bigger chapter. And that next chapter is exactly why this moment carries so much weight, because it reveals where the sport itself is headed. Tennis is in a transition era, searching for figures who can carry the game beyond tradition and into relevance for a new generation. And moments like this don't happen by coincidence. They happen when organizers, sponsors, broadcasters, and cities all quietly agree on who represents the future. This is what it looks like when that consensus forms in real time. It's no longer about proving potential or chasing validation. Those phases are over. This is about ownership of space. When a player arrives and the environment reshapes itself around her presence, that's authority, not hype. What's especially telling is how seamless it all feels. There's no shock factor anymore, no sense that this attention is forced or awkward. It fits. The spotlight doesn't overwhelm her, and the scale of the welcome doesn't feel out of proportion. That's when you know the shift has already happened. The sport isn't asking whether she belongs at this level, it's operating as if it's obvious, and that's often the most uncomfortable moment for critics, because it removes the illusion that their opinions still influence the narrative. At this stage, decisions are being made far above comment sections, based on long-term vision rather than short-term noise. This is also where legacy quietly begins to take shape. Not in retirement ceremonies or farewell tours, but in these subtle markers of status that separate great players from generational ones. Being trusted as the face of an event, being used as the centerpiece in its global promotion, being welcomed in a way that instantly goes viral, these are signals that history is already being written in present tense. And the pressure that comes with that? She's already carrying it, calmly, match after match, season after season. Losses don't derail her, wins don't inflate her ego, and scrutiny doesn't alter her direction. That steadiness is rare, and it's exactly why these moments keep happening. In the end, the air show wasn't the headline. It was the confirmation. Confirmation that the sport has found one of its anchors. Confirmation that respect follows consistency. And confirmation that star power isn't declared by fans, but demonstrated by institutions willing to invest real resources. While debates rage endlessly online, the real world keeps making its choice, and it keeps choosing the same name. The sky over Rome didn't just welcome a player, it acknowledged a force that's reshaping tennis in real time. And from here on out, the conversation isn't about whether she deserves this level of recognition, it's about how high the ceiling actually is, and how many more moments like this are still coming.